Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Paul Lopez.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
Ida Paul Lopez.
And Ida Sabrina Daly.
Yeah,
all right. Good morning, Paul. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad you picked up on that real quick.
I'll follow the vibe. You know, whatever we're doing, I'll do it.
Test your Creolese, so I leave it.
The test my Creole.
Yeah.
Paul, my Creole probably better than yours.
Sometimes we come on these sets and we're so posh, and prim and proper. But Ida Creole and I band it.
Me too. All right, Paul. That's quite an opening. But good morning, guys. Thanks for joining us wherever you are at this time. I know that we have been enjoying these chilly temps. It's still here very much. I know at least in the old capital here in Belize City, there are some light showers taking place outside. I believe so still. And so some might be saying they hope the rain no come and broke up the lead cold. But I also heard through the grapevine that we might be expecting another cold front this weekend as well.
So I learned a little bit of thing, right? 30 seconds. But I learned a little bit of thing from the chief met officer. And I might not be completely on the ball because I don't know a meteorologist or a scientist, but usually if you got cold front, after a cold front, like I said, Saturday we had a cold front, and then Sunday the cold front increased. Because you got like 9 consecutive cold fronts, you not get rain, right? Because the cold when it come in, you don't really have heat for clash with.
Okay.
But then yesterday we had that sun hot with the cold. So when more cold come in, because of the clash with the sun now, you get rain. So it necessarily mean
like
that,
condensation.
Right, they kind of word there. It don't necessarily mean that the cold, it broke up the cold front.
Okay.
It just mean that they gonna
So who came up with that term?
What that?
Broke up the cold front.
Yeah, you know that we just figure out that we just by experience I guess we make terms and we say, well, this is what happened.
All right, well, we can see what will happen this weekend as well. What's going on with the broad grill? You know what? I love it. If you like it, I love it. We do have a lineup for our viewers in terms of what they can expect today.
Indeed. And so here's what you can expect for this morning's show. We're going to be speaking about strengthening ocean protection through global partnership, and that conversation, we're looking forward to that one. We're highlighting Harold Young's launch of Political Voices in Belize. Listen, I've heard about this book through the grapevines, and I think this is one that we definitely want to tune into, and when that becomes available, get a copy.
Yes.
Third, becoming the picture of possibility for aspiring entrepreneurs. And last but certainly not least, Benny's brings back Love Your Honda deals. And remember that for last year?
Yes, I remember.
Love Your Honda.
I'm looking forward to that as well. All right, but we do have some topics to jump into in terms of things we think you should know before you leave your homes this morning. Starting off with Belize-Guyana relations strengthened with new agreements. We know that the president of Guyana is still here in Belize. That is President Irfan Ali. He's set to be here until the 3rd, which is today. Today's the 3rd.
His last day.
Today is his last day. Also with that list is Compal speaking on not inviting the media to Comstat. And Minister Espat speaks on proposed BTL SpeedNet merger. Now, this one rose a lot of eyebrows, I think, in last night's newscast. NTUCB and UDP to protest on Wednesday in front of the Social Security Board. And for some regional news, Lara Fernandez wins Costa Rica presidency. All right, Paul, let's jump straight into it. I think perhaps we can skip a couple and go start off with perhaps one of the topics that really raised a lot of eyebrows last night, and that was hearing from Minister Espat. We heard from him. We were able to speak to him after the National Assembly meeting. And we asked him various different questions, but perhaps pressing on the media's mind and still the general public's mind was his reaction to what is taking place right now with BTL and SpeedNet. But specifically having to do with an update that we gave you guys yesterday morning, where we learned that over the weekend there was a meeting with the Northern Caucus, the PUP's Northern Caucus, on matters involving the BTL SpeedNet merger. What also came out of that meeting was that they are presenting a unified front. They agree that this deal should be signed. Now, some might have differing views on that. For example, we spoke with the United Democratic Party members on the couch. We had leader of the UDP as well as area rep for Mesopotamia, Lee Mark Chang, even the chairlady of UDP, saying that this has now even more become politicized. And even if they felt that before, I think this meeting and presenting this meeting as perhaps something that we should consider when deciding on if we want to support the BTL merger, they are saying that this is politicized. But you'd expect that, right, Paul? You would expect the opposition party to say that. But for me, what caused my eyebrows to raise was to hear Mr. Espat say, no, this is politicized. This is plainly politicized as well. I have different views on it, but I'll allow you to jump in first, and then perhaps we can banter a bit.
Okay, so with issues like this, and Minister Espat alluded to it, there is a tug and war, right, going on in the public between BTL essentially and dissenting views. That is the unions, that is the oppositions, that is the BCCI, Belize Chamber of Commerce, and that is also those former employees who want their severance. And that's just to name a few. And what's happening is that Cabinet has essentially found itself in the middle of it. On one end, BTL, and they're pushing for this to at least saying that this is a good deal and this is a good option for the future of telecommunications, and on the other end, the dissenting view saying no. Smack dead in the middle, you have Cabinet, right? Because they are the representatives of the people, and so everybody is looking forward to, well, what do they have to say? And there hasn't really been a time like this, at least within the last decade, that politicians, more so in the ruling party, have had to pick a side, knowing that their decision will either make them or break them, will either cause them to drown or cause them to swim. And it is my firm view that this is the place that each and every single cabinet member has found themselves in, where they have to take a position on this issue, because the people that they represent, whether these people are supporters or non-supporters, are looking to see what it is exactly is their view.
So you're saying that it's not so much about the party that they represent anymore and about the people.
Right, and it should always be about the people. But you know how we do politics in Belize. It's about party first, when it should be in the reverse. And this issue, which has created a lot of different dynamics, has brought this dynamic to the forefront. And I think that based on what we heard from Minister Espat yesterday in terms of his position, he is not fully on board with this deal as it currently stands. And so he spoke out strongly against the Northern Caucus, as we heard him yesterday, and as you rightly mentioned, essentially condemning the politicization of a national issue. And what he took issue with is the fact that Cabinet agreed that we will keep this internal until consultations are finished, and then we will bring out our view. He also called for widespread public consultation, saying that BTL is owned by the people, and essentially that BTL isn't a private company. He also declared that if this deal is to go through, it will essentially eliminate competition and essentially do away with options and create a monopoly in Belize. So what raises eyebrows for people is that these are thoughts and opinions that we're hearing for the most part from the dissenting views, from the unions, from BCCI. We're hearing that from the opposition. And so now to hear it from not only a member of the cabinet, but a senior member of the Briceño cabinet
and the party.
Of the party raises a lot of eyebrows. Now, I think, for me personally, I think it's a bit ironic that on one hand, he's criticizing the Northern Caucus for essentially taking a position, saying, yeah, we're in support. But on the other hand, his remarks, at least to me, also kind of shows that he's taking a position, right? That he's more on the dissenting end. That he has a lot more concerns, a lot more questions and queries. So in essence, he is taking somewhat of a position. We heard something similar from Minister Karim Musa as well, versus hearing from the Prime Minister, who has touted the presentation that detail has been brought forward in terms of why this will benefit Belize and why this is the way to go. But I've been saying for weeks, and I continue to say that an issue like this has the potential to create a chasmic divide within the People's United Party. And we saw that because we saw that in 2025 to 2008 with the BTL issue at that time, where there was great deal of division, where the People's United Party essentially went on to lose the election in 2008. There was protests in 2005. And what I think politicians fear, especially those in the government, they fear that history will repeat itself. And the United Democratic Party, they stand watching like the predator, waiting for a sign of weakness. And the fact that Miss Panton and her team has essentially built back together doesn't bode well for the People's United Party where this issue is concerned.
I'm glad you raised that, because what I mentioned earlier was that I have some different views on it, and it seems we might be charting along the same path because of the different thoughts that Minister Julius Espat shared. For me, what was my immediate response was, are you trying to save yourself? Because when we look at how this is unfolding, we can clearly see that this is a possible recipe for repeating history. We see how the unions have come out. We see how the senators have come out. The UDP is going to also come out. They have also showed up last week as well. And there's a lot of conversation around it. But when Minister Julius Espat admitted that this could potentially hurt the party as well, I was like, okay, so we're kind of charting along the same thought process. But for me, I wonder if he is expressing this because he is well aware that there is a possibility that this could potentially hurt their performance in the upcoming general election. And so if he speaks, if he continues to speak in the sense of sharing truly how he feels about this, which is if he does not agree, say he does not agree, then the people would support him going along.
And this is not a superficial issue in that there must be an outcome, right? At the end of the day, it will either be the deal will go through or the deal will not go through. And that when that happens, what will be the affecting result will be determined by which side you're standing on or which side you were standing on. But just to note as well that because the United Democratic Party, they're standing aside, they're waiting to pounce on prey that is weak and that is falling apart, they're continuing their protests. Right, so they held a protest last week, Tuesday, and this is one form of really getting their message across and garnering public support. And on Wednesday, they're hosting another protest. So we have a flyer for that. Yeah. They're hosting a protest in front of the Social Security Board and the National Trade Union Congress of Belize. They're also joining that protest. They indicated, separate and apart from the UDP, that they too are hosting or they're holding a protest in front of the Social Security Board. Why? Because the Social Security Board is expected to meet on Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. to ventilate their position on the matter.
Plus, they're the ones representing the public's interest.
Right. Well, the Social Security Board, they have over 30% ownership of this company, of BTL. And when we say they have ownership, they essentially have invested public funds, people's pensions, as the NTUCB rightly pointed out. And so their deliberation and their position on this is just as important as the government's position on this matter.
And we know that social partner senators might also be present out there as well, or at least showing some type of presentation in their position on this.
And then finally on the matter, it is also worth noting, because we raised it on Friday, that the Public Utilities Commission, some would say, is finally doing their job, or they're finally at the point where they've issued a public notice. Remember, I pointed it out in the law last week, Friday, that a part of the PUC's obligation is for them to issue a public notice once they receive the application, in order to open the discussion to public review and open the discussion to public consultation and get views from the public. Well, they've finally done that. Yesterday, they issued a public notice saying that they're accepting, well, first they said they did an assessment of dominance in the telecommunications market. On their website, the PUC's website, they have a 57-page document where they outline what they've been able to gather. They say it's scientific, it's evidence-based, and based on that 57-page document, which they expect and they hope you would read, they've then called for individuals from the public to go and could come forward and essentially share your concerns, share your thoughts, share your views on it. This is how it's supposed to be. This is a part of the public consultation. This is a part of the process. Some will say it's belated, but it's here. And so now the public has an opportunity through this medium to share their concerns, to share their thoughts and their views on this.
All right, well, Paul, let's move things along. We do have another topic worth mentioning, and that is because we also heard from the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Richard Rosado, yesterday, and they had some questions for him in regards to the ComStat presentation. You would know that annually the Belize Police Department would present its statistics or its data. I think we should say instead forward in terms of what they would have collected, where crime or crime statistics in general is concerned the previous year. Now, it was my understanding, and perhaps the general media's understanding, that there was an invitation to that presentation, but for the last presentation that was held, we were not invited. Instead, we were given the report, and we would just have to go through that, do our own analysis, and the opportunity to ask questions and ask for further clarity on some numbers and data presented. We did not have that opportunity to do that. We did not also have the opportunity to speak directly to the commissioner as well, to ask him, Paul, well, the numbers that we have on this are different from the numbers that you guys have as well. And so we did get that opportunity to ask him why we were not invited to the ComStat presentation for this year. And he essentially said, Paul, they're trying something new, just try a new thing, wrong, see how it work out. And also, you guys were never invited. You were invited at the end of the presentation. And so, hold up, now come and try quarrel with me about something that you were never a part of. So I don't know. I don't know what my thoughts are on that, really. I think I get the impression that Kampal probably just never feel comfortable if he interact with the media because of all things considered. He just kind of got away from it.
I find that the Commissioner of Police gets a bit too easily flustered when interviews are being done. I'm not sure why, because...
You're not sure why?
No, because...
He's had a tough year last year,
well,
Paul.
yes, but at the end of the day, this is your job. You've been placed in this position.
It goes without saying, yes.
You need to interact with the media. You need to interact with the public. This is your job. You're the professional in this position. You know what you're the top about most of the times. And so you should, one would imagine, be able to speak with a level of clarity and calm. But he gets flustered, right? Yeah. And it's human. We're all humans. It happens. But I think the Kampal himself is being a bit disingenuous, as he accuses the media of being, when he speaks of the invite and explains the invite. He essentially said, Una never invited for come inside of this party.
We invited at the end of the thing.
Una invited for the outside of the party, right? And when we ready for come chono while he drink, then Una feel included.
I love the analogy.
But not think that Una can eat we food and dance and party. Well, you know what? I think it's a matter of semantics, because we in the media, we've always understood that in Comstat meetings, that's where they discuss the statistics. That's where they discuss strategy. That's where, if they have to call out a OC, let's say from Dangriga, and say, hey, this not a work. You need for put this thing in order and make this happen. What you want to do about this statistics? That's where they discuss those. So we've always understood that sensitive topics and issues and strategies are discussed within the Comstat meeting. And we've always accepted that and subjected ourselves to questioning at the end of these meetings. So he's not lying in saying that we've always been invited to the end of the meeting, but to say that we're being disingenuous because we've said that we've always been invited. Well, yes, we've always been invited. I remember I've been in this thing for like 7 years, and all of those 7 years I could recall interviewing the Commissioner of Police, former Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, after the Comstat meeting, and that's where we get to challenge him. The issue that we took here is that we weren't given that opportunity even after the meeting. So, all right, cool, you're now invited to the actual meeting. You didn't even invite us to come after the meeting to challenge and question and hold you accountability and offer some level of transparency where the statistics are concerned. And then to take the blame and to cast it on the poor press office.
Yes, the press office.
You know what? We made try something new, and we decided that we just allow the press office to determine if they want to do it or if they want to invite the media. That responsibility has never been on the press office, based on my understanding. I don't know if the press office itself accepts that account, that they were the ones responsible, but clearly the responsibility, he has thrown it on the press office. But all is well that ends well, in my view, and he said that he has no issue inviting the media in the future to attend outside. So remember, we are showing one reborn outside, but can't come in. But we've always known that. We've always accepted that. I think the Kampal needs to take a minute when he comes into interviews, and he needs to breathe. He needs to be calm. He needs to relax. Probably meditate a little bit and really think over how he responds to questions, because the public can interpret it in a whole nother way, like you're being standoffish. Yeah. And I don't think that's his true intent. But he gets very flustered during interviews.
I mean, what you did point out earlier was that he's human, and he had a tough year last year, and so I think he is on edge. You can kind of feel it in his interviews as well. You could hear it. He's very breathy while he tries to respond, but that's just a lot of nerves, and you don't want people to misinterpret that, as you mentioned, as perhaps sharing false information. And so Please take our consideration, Paul. We would like to at least be there at the end of the party. Well, Paul, we do want to close things off, and we have one final topic to jump into. This is the last day that the president of Guyana will be present here in Belize. That is President Irfan Ali. He's been here since Sunday, and of course, he was welcomed by a state arrival presentation. And with that, he has been moving around with a full itinerary. I can tell you last night, I know he was definitely in front of me because of all of the
Oh,
police.
really?
Yes. It was a whole display last night, Paul.
Yeah.
It was a whole display.
You're going home?
Passing through, yes, passing through the city, and there were so many different police vehicles in front. It was really cool to witness, actually, the way that, you know, these protocols are in place whenever they have these officials in country. But that aside, we know that yesterday there was an official presentation at the National Assembly building where the president opened up, shared what the bilateral relations between Guyana and Belize has looked like for these years, and of course, what they're hoping for in the future as well. Guyana stands in a position where they are expected to increase even more so than they are right now in terms of resources after exploring and tapping into their oil resources that they have there on their land. And we know that so far, out of the meetings that they have had, there are several memorandum of understandings that have been signed related to some of the very same things that we have been mentioning since Sunday, Paul. We spoke of food security, we spoke of education, we spoke of tourism as well, trade, and I'm only excited to see perhaps what are further projects and initiatives that will be coming out of this?
So let me just say in closing on this topic, or just in closing on the conversation, is that for some time the CARICOM members have been working diligently to create this single market economy. And what the success of these agreements is dependent on is the removal of these bureaucratic processes that prevents these imaginary boundaries, barriers, as President Ali referred to, that prevents this sort of cohesion and collaboration between regional countries, right? And so, yes, tariffs have been removed on a lot of trade and a lot of issues. But when you think about the cost, of goods, transporting goods, especially from Belize to the region, that's a huge challenge, because you're talking about shipping costs versus within that belt along the Eastern Caribbean, where they're in close proximity. Belize is at a distance off. But then you're talking about also the cost of import license. You're talking about arbitrary health and safety screening, etc. These things present real challenges and real barriers that President Ali mentioned in his speech yesterday, and said we need to do away with as a region if we really want to see this single market economy come to life and operate in the manner it's supposed to operate in. But I don't think that we've seen the political will from leaders of Caribbean nations to get to that point. Just one prime example, we think about in 2013, I believe, when Caribbean chickens sought to export like 26,000 pounds of chicken to Trinidad. That was sent back to Belize because of a great deal of health screening and miscommunication. These are the artificial barriers. These are the bureaucracies.
And that's just one aspect, because when we think of even people trying to migrate, that was an issue as well. People spoke about a lot of red tapes.
Yes, so there's a great deal of red tapes in place that the region has to address and has to do away with. And it's very technical, so we won't get into all of the technicalities before we really see this single market and this CARICOM dream and concept realized in totality. Until then, all of these discussions and all of these meetings, in my view, they're conceptual.
All right. Well, we do got to wrap things up at this time. This has been a great conversation. We want to say thank you guys if you have been sharing your thoughts in the comment section. We now move over to our weather update from the folks at the National Meteorological Service. Here's our eye on the weather. All right, as we mentioned, this morning's Eye on the Weather is brought to you by the folks from the National Meteorological Service, and it calls for sunny with cloudy spells and cloudy at times tonight. A few showers or light rain will affect some coastal areas this morning and again late tonight. Elsewhere, showers will be isolated. In terms of temperatures, coastal areas will be experiencing highs of 76, dropping to lows of 68. Inland, you can expect highs of 79, dropping to a low of 60, and in the hills, highs of 70, then dropping to 55. So you can see that the temperatures are getting a tad bit warmer now. For Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you can expect very similar temperatures as well. Also, as I mentioned, temperatures beginning to get warmer. Wednesday for inland and coastal areas, highs will be looking like 77 and 80 degrees, then dropping to lows of 68 and 60. On Thursday, highs of 79 and 84, dropping to lows of 70 and 62. On Friday and Saturday, highs of 74 and 76, Saturday 75 and 78, then dropping to lows of 66 and 59, 69 and 62 for inland and coastal areas. The sun rose this morning at 6:24 a.m. and it's set to set at 5:49 p.m. The moon set will take place at 7:40 a.m. and rise at 7:43 p.m. In terms of our marine conditions, the sea state is choppy to moderate with winds blowing from the east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Today's low tide will took place at 5:27 a.m. and a high tide at 11:20 a.m. However, another low tide will take place at 5:07 p.m. and today another high tide will also take place at 11:15 p.m. And that does it for our Eye on the Weather. You might want to enjoy the rest of the chilly temperatures that we have here. Paul, back to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sabrina. What we're going to do right now is we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to jump into our first segment for this morning, which is all about strengthening ocean protection through global partnership. We'll be right back.
Full-Tech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Full-Tech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy 8. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
In the heart of the Cayo district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easier for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
Cutting through the politics and posturing, here are some important facts and figures. When BTL was renationalized in 2009, the company was valued at $226 million, but Belizean taxpayers eventually paid $648 million for it. So what exactly did we pay for? In black and white, here's the breakdown. Dunkeld for shares acquired $354 million, almost half of which was interest resulting from government's refusal to settle promptly. BTL Employees Trust, $114 million, almost double the initial award due to interest and other costs. British Caribbean Bank Limited, $87 million, more than double the initial award due to interest. Government of Belize arbitration costs, $839,000. Government of Belize legal fees and costs, $13 million. Social Security loan acquired, $29 million. Government of Belize loan to Sunshine Holdings, $10 million. Taxes government failed to collect, $38 million. All for a grand total of $648 million. So we paid $422 million more than the real value, 3 times its true worth, not for the latest technology, because there was none, but simply for personal ego and legal misadventure. Let that sink in, Belize. Ignore the politics and posturing. Focus on the facts.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. This is our first engagement for this morning, and it's all about ocean protection through global partnership. And we have joining us on set this morning 2 very important individuals. We have a representative of OCP. He has a long title, and he'll tell us all about his title and position when we get to him, as well as, so that's Mr. Peter Colher, as well as we have on set with us Mr. Aldo Cancino, and he's an environmental officer over at the Department of Environment. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure having both of you on set. So we could start with you, Mr. Peter. Tell us a bit about OCP and what is it that you guys really do and how this partnership came to be. So about the importance of your work.
Yeah, thanks, Paul, and it's a pleasure for. Thank you for inviting me on the show. The Ocean Country Partnerships Program, it's a partnership between the UK and Belize. It's focused on developing the UK, Belize's capacity for ocean governance, climate change and resilience, and science and evidence-led works. And what we've really wanted to do is work with Belizeans, listen to what the kind of priorities are in Belize, and then offer our expertise to support those activities. And so we're a mix of different organizations. So I myself am from CFAS, and then we've got colleagues from organizations called JNCC and MMO, and we span the kind of marine protection area in the UK. And it's really just about, you know, acknowledging the great work that Belize already does and offering UK expertise in partnership to kind of progress the Belizean priorities.
How long has this collaboration between the UK's organization and Belize has been ongoing?
It's 5 years now, but we've worked with Belize since 2016 or so through various different programs. So it's really part of a long-term partnership that we developed with Belize. So.
When we interact with other organizations and even countries, I think, on the international stages, we are always recognized, Belize, that is, as a leader in marine protection, in our biodiversity. And I'm curious to know, what was it that stood out about Belize from the work that you guys were doing that really brought about the intentions or the interest in working with us?
The passion you guys have for your marine environment. We've worked in many countries, and Belize always stands out as people that are committed to protecting the marine environment, working with it, and developing a kind of a healthy relationship with it. So it's important for livelihoods, but it's also important for biodiversity and for health. And so we've always been struck by how Belize is committed to that. And the MPA network, as you said, Marine Protected Area Network, is world leading. So we're really excited. So, for example, our colleagues have been working on getting it something called IUCN Green Listing. So we're in train to achieve that in 5 of the MPAs, and that gives kind of global recognition, official kind of global recognition of the excellence of Belize's MPAs, which unlocks all sorts of potential for funding, for collaborations and that. So we're really excited about that bit.
All right, so let's bring Mr. Cancino into the conversation before we as we continue to delve into the program and some of the findings and some of the areas you've touched. Talk about the Department of Environment's role in this entire program.
Well, good morning, and
Good morning again.
thanks very much for having us and to speak a bit on OCPP and the work that we've been doing. In terms of the Department of Environment, the Department of Environment has a responsibility, sustainable development, but we also have responsibilities to look at pollution. And in this, what we looked at was marine pollution and how...
Was that like a key focus for this program?
Yes, it was a key focus of the program. Actually, Pete mentioned that they were here in the partnership started in 2016. And at that time, what we developed was a Marine Litter Action Plan. The action plan had different activities that we wanted to achieve. So, what the Ocean Country Partnership Program assisted us with is meeting those targets. So, for example,
yes,
we have a water and wastewater laboratory. We do a lot of water quality monitoring. We're not the only ones in the country. We also partner with private water labs, and also there are several NGOs that have that capacity. So one of the things that we looked at with OCPP was that we wanted to see where we are in terms of if we need to go to accreditation, if we want to elevate our standard in terms of the analysis that we're producing, what do we need? And so we partner with OCPP, and they led a team of experts that looked at not only the DOE's lab, they looked at the different labs in the country and identified, okay, if you want to reach this level, this is what you need to do, and kind of develop a roadmap, and that's where we are. And so while the lab is something that they in terms of activities, that was a key focus. We can't speak about the lab without people.
Yeah.
And so we also invested in our lab tech and our personnel in terms of getting training. He did a master's and all of that in relation to ensuring that we can reach accreditation. Accreditation is not only the building, it's also the people and the processes. And so this wasn't only done for the DOE. There's a roadmap for the different stakeholders in Belize that kind of do this. So
and it really shows how it's all connected as well too, though. But getting that accreditation, does that assist in further perhaps resources that you guys can get from other donors and organizations internationally?
Yes, but it's not necessarily about donors. What we want to look at is how can we make the lab efficient?
Okay.
Sustainable financing. How can we make the lab work? Because we can have a turnaround if we put in the right things in place. And how can we also serve as a regional hub? Right? So the work that we do with OCPP is only a small component, and we do want to see how we can possibly serve as a hub for other entities in the region to use the lab so that then we can.
It can really fund itself.
Yes.
How does increasing the standards of operation, for example, in the lab, how does that translate to overall ocean or water resource protection?
It's about kind of identifying scientifically the kind of chemicals that are present. So if there's harmful products, so we did some work with pesticide monitoring with the DOE, where we look at what pesticides are perhaps in the waterways. And so if we could identify them, you can then start to look at why they're there. You can then develop methods to prevent it leaking into the environment, which then improves the health of the environment, makes it even more beautiful than it already is, and also supports livelihoods and people that depend on that. So that's something. Yeah.
So the more effective you are in that work, the more effective you will be in your response. The more effective you are in your research and your assessments, the more effective you will be in your response.
So the science leads policy.
Yes.
So with the work that was done with the pesticides, what we identified, it wasn't a comprehensive list of pesticides, but we do have identified several of them. Fortunate for us, that means that we have at least initial assessment, and the assessment revealed that the levels are below in the different benchmarks internationally. So that we shared this with the Pesticides Control Board, because they are the authority that regulates pesticides, looks at giving training to pesticide users. And so it's a way of seeing how their framework works, and then if it's doing well, you will see it in these results. Moreover, where we want to kind of go, which is we want to replicate this. So it was a one-time thing, so we're trying to identify a mechanism to kind of see what we need to do, identifying probably 5 instead of doing a whole array, identifying the 5 or 6 pesticides that we can monitor across the country, taking into consideration the different crops, the different cycles, etc. So you see science, policy, and we continue to do that as we go along. So it's a circle.
When you think about the importance of Belize's ocean space, the economic importance to the livelihood of individuals across the country, you could really see why work like this is important to essentially have responses that then bolsters the sustainability of this marine economy, if you would. What about marine litter, for example? Is that an area that we're also working to address? People just throwing garbage on the beach, and do we have like action plans coming out of programs like this?
I think we've got the
So very good question. Actually, I was going to lean into that. Okay. So we do have a marine litter action plan, but for example, what we did with OCPP is the DOE had worked with about 7 communities in San Ignacio, in the Cairo district, to see how we can bolster waste management practices at the community level, right? Because whatever happens upstream,
correct,
ends up downstream. And so what OCPP did was they brought in external consultant that specializes in waste management and has experience in this in the Pacific Islands, and they brought in people that in the Pacific that had done similar activities, and we looked at the program that we had, identify areas of strengthening, and the idea with that is how can we assist communities to manage their waste, and also how can it be something that it's not becomes a burden, right? And again, sharing best practices with people from the Pacific Islands. Now, attached to this, or as a subcomponent to this, was the OCPP also assisted in the establishment of a Belize Waste Recyclers Association. So the DOE was doing some work initially on trying to identify what do we need to establish a recycling sector. And we realized that the information is too sporadic. You know, we didn't really know who was on the ground. And so
recycling.
Yeah. Resource recovery.
Resource recovery.
And if people would even buy into the idea too, though, because one of the things that I've observed is when it comes to littering in general, it's deeper than just saying that you should and you shouldn't do this. People do these things because it's what they've seen all their lives. You know, they dump in certain areas, they go to a certain place, they just want to relieve themselves of their trash. What has been the data collection in terms of speaking to certain communities as the reason why they would go about littering?
Yeah, so the DOE and, well, the ministry has been working, and not necessarily with OCPP on this, but working at strengthening waste management. Currently, the DOE and Solid Waste are trying to identify different illegal dump sites across the country. I believe we haven't finished, but the number is up there. So we have it by district, and we've identified all of these hotspots. We're working with Ministry of Infrastructure Development to see how to do the cleanup. But that is only looking at it from a reactionary mode. Where we want to go, and this is the importance of fresh start, is how do we work with communities so that they can manage the waste, or at least have a collection system and where to take it, because we all generate waste and we need to have an area to dispose. In terms of data, we are not yet collecting the data in terms of the where or how much is generated at these community levels, but with the Belize Waste Recyclers Association, what we want to see is, or what we want to highlight is that a lot of this is a resource. And so if we understand, so the association has different people along the chain, so from custom brokers to Bowen that has the buyback program, to people that are collecting in the formal and informal sector, and we're trying to see how they can now have an environment where we can, instead of saying waste, we have a resource, and let's see how we can take that and have people make an income out of that.
Earning of it. One of the things the study identifies is that there is a need for greater community engagement. Yeah, it's needed to ensure that there's this transformational change that we're talking about. What do we mean by that?
So, I mean, yeah, we've, in OCP, for example, with the marine protected areas, we did a lot of work in partnership with Belize, Ministry of Blue Economies, CSMAI, to bring in communities from the various keys and the coastlines into the decision-making process and the management of those protected areas. Because that involvement is key, and as Aldo's just said, working with rural communities on waste collection, developing a kind of sustainable model from which they can do cost recovery and support their own waste collection system. I mean, all of this was identified in a litter action plan that we worked with the DOE on all those years ago. But yeah, I mean, it's a very good point in bringing on communities to that, so it's done with them, not at them. Is really important, and it's been something that OCPP's really tried to work with at the community level. And for example, this forum event this week, on the Friday, we're looking at youth and communities, and so we're really focused on engaging youth and students about the challenges, providing the education and the opportunities for them to become the next environmental officer or
stewards of their environment.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk really quickly about the forum upcoming and how people can take part. You said that there's an interest to have young people be invested in this as well.
Yes, so it's a 3-day forum. So the first day is kind of ministerial diplomatic. It's looking at the governance, looking at climate change, sustainable financing with NGOs and donors and partners, really to kind of set the stage and look at the direction. And then the second day is technical, so it's really looking at how do we translate that and how do we build on what OCPP's delivered. So it's celebrating what we've achieved, but we're really keen to look at tomorrow. Like, what does that mean for tomorrow? How can we work with Belize to do it? And then the final day is on youth and communities. So it's at the University of Belize. There'll be some stands around for people from the various agencies. And then we're going to bring students in. We're going to give them an opportunity to speak to the experts, people like Aldo, but also from across the marine environment management section, all these different roles, so that hopefully they feel inspired, they identify someone they might want to be when they're grown up.
Yeah.
That's right. But yeah, and then so that they can kind of work towards that career-wise as well. So
what's at stake here?
Well, I mean, it's the global environment. I mean, Belize, you've got the great, the Mesoamerican reef just off the coast, and you've got a fantastic environment. And so, you know, identifying and working with Belize in the management of that is really important for the global environment, but also for the Belizean people. And seeing them being a success can be a model for the world in terms of how Belize has already got many livelihoods and many dedicated professionals that are working in that blue environment, in that marine environment, to sustainably manage it. And I think there's lessons for many other places in the world, including us, including the UK. I mean, nice. Your MPA network, like I said, is top notch. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, gentlemen, we do have to wrap up this conversation and say thank you first for joining us. Before we leave, I want to engage you guys in our motivational quote this morning, and it goes like this: action springs not from thought, but from a readiness for responsibility. This comes from Dietrich Bonhoeffer. I believe that's how it's said, but thank you guys so much for joining us, and we wish you guys all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you too.
Good time.
All right, we got to take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere. Our next conversation is all about highlighting Harold Young's launch of Political Voices in Belize.
That's me. My data done, and I really need to get my order out today.
Really? Well, you can join our smart group plan.
Really? How that works?
Easy, let me tell you.
Whether it's family, friends, or your small business, we've got the perfect plan for every group. More members equals more savings, more connections. Smart group plans bring the connectivity you love to you and your circle. No one gets left behind. Explore Share One package option and add on unlimited data, calls, and SMS for the entire group for less than $50 per member. Visit any smart showroom countrywide or email sales@speednet-wireless.com to sign up today. Smart, bringing people together.
Clean and maintain your yard the best way with Honda trimmers and lawn mowers. Honda Lawn and Garden Equipment. Available at Benquip. Equipment, parts, service.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
In the heart of the Kaya district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easy for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. This is our second conversation, and as we mentioned before the break, it's all about highlighting Harold Young's launch of Political Voices in Belize. We have it right here. Heavy. Paul, tell me how it feels.
I don't know if this one left this room or
I know. I'll tell you, there are many people trying to get their hands on this book. Even during the break, I saw you even get purchased already.
Behind the scenes.
Why not? Why not? That's to show how much this is a valuable piece of resource.
I agree.
Harold, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure having you here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Paul. And welcome. Thank you, Belize, for having me on here and put this forward. Yeah.
Now, I know that this has been in the works for quite some time. You've been working on this book. But for persons who might not be aware of a little bit of your background and who you are, give us a brief overview of your connection to the political conversations that are taking place every single day. We have utilized your expertise. You would remember on our show last year called Power
to the people for the elections.
Power and the people.
Power and the people.
Yes. So your political expertise has been invaluable. And of course, I imagine we will be seeing this in this production as well. Tell us a bit about your background and your work in politics.
So by training, I'm a political scientist, but my interest in politics goes back when the day I was born. No, I'll talk about that. But politics and history are intertwined, and that's really the basis of my interest and my excitement.
Yeah.
And so that's the really basis of the work and all the work I do now. So this is my third book. This is my first full book about Belize. And so in working on projects before this, it started out with being asked by somebody to write something about Sir Harrison Courtney. And then when I looked at that, when I did that research, I discovered that the Queen versus Price sedition trial 1958 was involved. Do you all know what that is? Queen. There you go. So that was the first point, and I was like, okay, I didn't know much about it either.
Yeah.
So the upshot is that it led from that to me wanting to write an article about the sedition trial, and then I realized there wasn't a lot of modern political history written. There are books out there, they are there, and I talk about that, but there wasn't a lot. So I thought there was a void in writings, especially by Belizeans.
Yeah, about Belize.
And about Belize, about modern politics in Belize. So that's where the project started. I was going to do that.
Yeah.
And then I decided I would write it based on a lot of interviews by people. So I had a list of about 50 people I was going to interview. When I did the first two, I realized that I didn't need to get between the interviews and the reader. That the interviews themselves were absolutely excellent, interesting, and the people were really sharing and being honest. So I decided, no, people need to read these interviews exactly as they're said.
Yeah. That means that you got some really good conversations.
Go ahead. Yeah, so I curated the list from 50 to 12. Some were added, some were taken out, and to give the balance. And then I interviewed these 12 people and then put them. So each chapter is an interview.
So we're going to get a little bit further into the details of the chapters and what people can expect. I just want to quickly say how much I appreciate you for the work that you did here, Harold, because I think I represent a younger voice and a younger mind who was not present or would not be able to remember a lot of these things, at least that would have taken place in Belize politically. And so now being in this profession that I am in, it's still important that I know what took place. So having resources like this makes it so much easier than going about and Googling and running through, you know, so many different articles and documents. I am excited for people who might have been there and can compare their experience with what other people would have experienced as well. But even young minds, I'm encouraging young people in particular to get a hand on the book. Read something this year in 2026. Now let's dive into it. The 12 interviews that you chose out of 50. Before we even get to that 12, what were key questions that you wanted to get answers to, and are there specific events in Belize's political history that you wanted to also talk about and highlight?
Absolutely. So when you read each interview, you will learn the arc of each person's connection from their life to how they got into politics.
Okay.
Which is important, right? What made them go into politics. So you get that arc. The other arc is linking some of the earlier people involved in politics from the late 60s, which was a very pivotal time for Belize, so linking that through independence to today. So we start off with people like Asad Shuman and Said Musa were activists in the late 60s. So they were linked to that. Then UBAD was involved, so which was also really important. UBAD was a very important pivotal organization and time for when they were very active in Belize. And then underlining all that is how we get to independence, what led to that, and then also how the conversation in Belize changed. Some of the interviews talk about that, how the conversation in politics changed, then the formation of the UDP, how that happened, how that linked to the competition, if you want to call it, rivalry with the PUP, and then how that's linked to big events like each election, G7, things like that, right? So how is it linked?
Just a full blanketed.
It doesn't cover every single thing, and it's not but it gives a nice arc that leads you right through. And then the age groups of the interviewees also helps.
Okay.
So the younger people, like Jules, for example, Jules Vasquez is one, right? And Audrey Wallace, their arc shows what politics was like in their youth while Assad and Said were adults. And Henry Young, they were adults in politics. And these two were young people, how they saw that. And then their arc into politics. So you get a nice linkage as you go through, and their rooting in their political families, because they came from very political families, right? And so you get a nice joining, nice arc through the whole thing.
How much of these interviews would you say were eye-opening to you, and perhaps removed the curtain to look behind some of the issues that really happened, to get the details that you wouldn't necessarily get on the news, or have the discussions that you wouldn't necessarily have in public, but now they're way more open to having those conversations?
Oh, absolutely. That's a great question, because as I said, after the first two interviews I did, I'll just tell you who the first interviews were. I picked what I call a low-hanging fruit. There were people that I knew I had access to, that had, so they were both retired at the time, which is Said Musa and Ralph Fonseca. They were already retired, they started in 2024. So they were fairly easy to get to set it up.
Right.
So what I found out is that they, in talking, I recorded the interviews. I had a recording. I didn't write anything. I recorded it and then transcribed it.
Okay.
So I was able to listen without having to write, listen to what they were saying. And I was challenged by each interview, all 12, my entire repertoire of political history to keep up with what they were saying and try to follow what they were saying, to follow up with the questions. Because I didn't go in with a set of like 100 questions. I had some themes I wanted to touch on, but I let them lead what they wanted to say and let them lead me.
But you have to know what you know.
I came out, I was exhausted after each one.
I would imagine.
I was exhausted after each one.
Also because you're going with doing your own research, but also speaking to people and hearing their own interpretations of different historical periods.
So there is one portion, if you don't mind, and then you could add context to this for us young people, right?
Please.
So there's this one. This is an interview with Said Musa, and you marked it. So I'm just going.
I didn't hear. Okay, go ahead.
So there's this part where there's two parts. Maybe the second part I'll have us focus on, but I just wanted to bring this part. So he said, there it says. So this is he's talking about a meeting in cabinet. So no, he says, so how long? That's Said Musa, and he proceeded to undermine me, of course, right? Then you say, that's just where I was going. How do you rub salve in a wound like that? And Said Musa says, I tried to do it through the cabinet. And then you said, yeah. And he said, I tried to talk to them in the cabinet. I think there was a lot of deception going on and undermining. And I knew certain things were being fed to Jules Vasquez by Marcus Pat. And I think after every cabinet meeting, Jules got the full bill and receipt. So Said Musa is laying it all on the table, right? So he said, okay. And he said, we got put where nothing could be discussed. You couldn't discuss anything in private or confidentially, yes. Then he said that's a difficult environment to work in. But then here, you asked him about the G7. What effect did the G7 division have on Belizean politics and life? It's a really good question to ask Mr. Musa. And he said, all that caused a major erosion of people's confidence. Something he definitely wouldn't admit at the time, right? And you said, so what did they want you to do? And he said, quite candidly, so they wanted me to get rid of him, Ralph Fonseca, completely. Well, they wanted me to get rid of him completely, and so I knew and moved him out from being in charge of the economy.
Wow.
But this gives you some insight. Talk a bit about what was happening at this time.
Did you give a truth elixir to
so a lot of when they said things, I kind of went,
yes! All you were saying is, that must have been a terrible environment. What? I would have been reeling.
There were many moments like that with almost everybody that had something, at least one or two things to say that I kind of pulled back at. That's one of the exciting things. Two things I'll say. You are hearing, when you read the interviews, and let me say one quick thing first. This book is 537 pages, right?
I gather that.
But you don't have to read it in sequence. If you're interested in a particular interview, you can read that.
Okay.
They're not linked in that sense. But what does happen is that you get different versions of the same event. Right?
And that's why I was speaking about interpretations.
Right. You get different versions of the same event. And then the other big difference is there are people who are interviewed who are out of office. At this time, Said Musa is out of office. But they have people who are in office. So you can see some of the differences between the things that they say, right?
Yes.
So interview with Prime Minister Briceño will sound different quite differently from an interview with Said Musa. Not that Briceño wasn't honest, but he's in that constraint of being
He's still
live politics, right? He's still
in
involved.
Political life.
But he was actually really good too. He talked about the interesting things as well. And of course, then Dolores Balarabas Garcia is the same thing. She's actually in politics right now. So they sound different, from each other, but they still give very, very interesting perspectives on things. And I think that the audience will really, the readers will really enjoy some of the things that come out.
Who did you enjoy interviewing the most?
I think, well, I enjoyed all of them, and I don't mean that to just be, and I enjoyed them for different reasons. I think probably the most fun interview to do was Michael Finnegan.
I'm literally there right now. Yeah. I am literally there right
probably
now.
The most fun one, right?
Yes.
He's a really great guy, great character, and very colorful.
Yes.
He was good. The other part, I enjoyed Amon Courtney because I think people will be very surprised by his interview as well.
Really?
Yes.
In what way?
He's very academic and speaking
that's
most
how
of
he
the time.
appears. That's how he presents himself in public. But I found that he was very candid about things when I asked him about it. I think you'll find, you will see another person, a different layer to him.
So what do you think then it was about your interview or your interviewing skill that allowed these persons to present themselves so candidly to you? Because as Paul mentioned, some of these people, when we interact with them, it's a different type of personality that we would get.
So the interviews were done mainly at their homes.
Okay.
And it's just the two of us. It was just two people. There weren't any witnesses. I wasn't taking pictures.
Okay.
Right? And I think I might have just been, I don't want to overplay this part, but I might have just been the right person at the right time because they know me.
Yeah.
Everybody knew me. They know, I didn't have to explain my background. I wasn't a stranger I might have had some nefarious agenda to trap them or expose something that they, So, and I told everybody, if you want to tell me something for context of what you're saying, but you don't want that included, you just want me to have a better feel for what you're saying, you can do that. I will respect that and I will not print that. I will not include that. I made that very clear from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
That they were free to share and tell me, don't include that. I was giving you that for the context of what I'm saying so you understand. And so that was, I think that was very important. I might have just been the right person at the right time for this. And I will single out Ralph Fonseca for that because of course he passed away like 6 months later, right? At the time he was up and at his desk. I was in his office at his home. So that I was very, very honored and very happy that I got to get that done with him.
Would this be a book that would be useful for people to get an overview understanding of Belize's political landscape, just with fresh pair of eyes? If they don't understand, if they want to be able to put certain situations that are taking place in further context that is happening on the news, to link it to things that happened in the past, would this be a book that would be useful for that?
I'll say a couple of things on that. First of all, I think today the Belize-Guatemala issue, or their ridiculous claim to Belize, it's present, but I don't think everybody gets the significance, how significant it was in the political development of Belize. And the book really highlights that it underpins everything that went on, right? And you can hear it from in the 60s with Assad and Said coming back from the UK and having a attitude towards it that was different than the generation before them. And then people who were younger at the time, like, Amon and John Briseño and Jules and Audrey, how they viewed it as teenagers and then how it evolved into their life as adults. The other important thing is the overwhelming and incredible influence that George Price had on politics. He's kind of sanitized, and I don't mean it in a bad way because I'm not saying I want dirt on him, but he's kind of sanitized in his iconic way right now, and that's fine. He's a national hero, father of the nation, but he was quite a personality. I mean, in politics, he was not somebody to be tired with, not to play around with him. He was very, very serious. And his influence on everybody that we talked to there was either on the line or implicit or explicit. It was either explicit or implicit. And his name is the most mentioned name by anybody. By all people together, he's mentioned more than anybody else.
Wow.
Yeah. So I like this part with Iman Courtney because so I'll just a little bit of this part where you asked him. So that brings me to a final major area of discussion. If you could focus on one or two things, if you had your way, what political reforms would you adopt? You've already spoken about the abuse of discretionary power. That's interesting. And the need to close that loophole in the law. Right? And he lists many things, but one I find very interesting has to do with the Auditor General. In their interview with him, he said, I would take a look at the whole Auditor General and auditing of public accounts. It's a serious issue. And everybody focuses on the Auditor General, and rightly so, but she's not or he's not the only problem. The Accountant General must prepare the public accounts. The Accountant General must ensure that accounts of the government are kept according to financial order. People open public accounts any day without permission. People move money in and out of government accounts without any regulations. Therefore, government accounts cannot be prepared for them to be audited. So one blames the Auditor General, whereas the finance officers in the ministries who are appointed because of who they know politically don't understand the financial orders and do not present the right accounting reports to the Auditor General so that the report can be generated. So there's a lot more.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's part of what you.
Yeah, it's very candid.
Why I mentioned Elon, because, and of course everybody knows him, but a very no nonsense person, right?
Yeah.
So that probably doesn't surprise some people.
Yeah.
And he would say it on record is interesting too. Yeah, I think one of the things that I want people to take away from the book is that I can't speak for everybody who's gone into public office. I could never do that, right? But I think the majority of people, and definitely these people that I interviewed, went into politics with good intentions. With legitimate, different backgrounds, of course, right? Because some came from extremely political public parties, but went in with good intentions. And what they encountered, and a number of them discussed it, what they encountered was a friction between their ideals and their intentions and their goals and what the party wants.
So that is to say that politicians are good by intent, but by nature they align to the political.
But not by nature, because not everybody gave in to the party's influence. Some people did. Some people left politics because of it. Right? Some people stepped aside because they did not want to deal with that aspect of it. And some people were able to walk that balance, right? But it's a very interesting friction that internally. So we get the impression, and I say that because sometimes we say, oh, these politicians, they're just all thieves and they have no conscience, but it's really not true.
It's so interesting that you said that, because we were having a conversation just this morning about
the BTL issue.
The BTL issue, Julius Espat position, you know, essentially saying that his party, through the Northern Caucasus meeting over the weekend, is politicizing the BTL SpeedNet acquisition, which on the surface, you'd think, why would you say that? Because it goes against, you know, your party. However, as a politician and as an individual, as a person, as a person.
Yeah, so you
it's
can
a do-good.
So you see that, that's a very important dynamic. And it will never go away. It will always be there, right? It's how does it play out? That's important. The other thing when you asked about, I want to say about, and this is probably my one, I don't say disappointment because I kind of knew, but the one thing I would say that wasn't the strongest aspect of people's interviews was I asked all of them that question about what constitutional reform, what reform would you do. I asked all of them the same question, right? And overall, the responses varied from basically nothing to fairly substantial things. I was not generally impressed with how they viewed the system.
But you spoke to Prime Minister as well.
All of them.
Yeah.
Everybody. And that point I want to say is important, not just as a critique from me, but because when I did the first draft of the book, when I finished the whole thing, and I gave it to the editor, she went through it, Melissa Espat, right? She went through it, and after a few meetings with her, she said, well, but we don't know what you think. We don't know what you make of what they say. You have a summary and you have that, but you don't give your... So I wrote a whole new chapter.
Nice.
Ironically, chapter 13, right? Which is very political science-y, nerdy. But that's where I discuss this thing about how do we make the system better.
Right.
How to improve the system, right? And some of the problems we have, challenges, not just Belize, all countries, in changing the system, in altering, fundamentally altering it. So I found that most of the things that they said were not fundamental. Even Amon's comment about the auditor, that's not fundamental to the structure, how the structure works, how people are elected, the relationship between elected officials and the voters or the public. That doesn't change that fundamentally. That's important, but don't change it fundamentally.
Because when you're in the game, you're not thinking about the fundamentals. Essentially, you're thinking about what's practical and what's practical in the moment.
In the moment,
and for the season. And so the fundamentals get thrown out the door until you take a step back and look at it with 2020 vision. We do have to wrap up the conversation, however. So when does the book launch? Political Voices in Belize. When does it launch?
The interviewers.
The interviews. I think that's critical because that really defines what the book is about.
Yeah, so I'm launching on Thursday the 5th at 6 o'clock at the House of Culture out there. And it's open to everybody. It's not, anybody can come. I'll be doing signings and books will be on sale. They're $100 Belize for the book. And I invite anybody to come. I will do a presentation as well, but some of the other people will speak. If you look at the back, there people who reviewed and made a contribution.
April Martinez stands out.
So I'm going to have a couple of them talk about their review, their impressions of the book.
Will this be available online for any of the?
Eventually, it's published here, printed and published in Belize. So maybe on Amazon eventually, but I will not too distant future make it available on 501.
All right, good. Well, we're being asked.
And I'm
to
hoping
wrap up.
schools will use it. I'm really hoping schools will use it, but I encourage people to engage with it. It's more than just politics. Let me say one more thing, a very important thing. Each chapter is followed by 4 or 5 pages, sometimes 6 or 7, of footnotes. And what the footnotes do is give you more context to what the person is saying. So if the person mentions Miss So-and-so, you can look at the footnote and see who that person is. Because a lot of people contributed to these people's lives and to the political that are unsung. So those people get mentions in there.
Excellent. Well, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning and bringing us a taste of Political Voices in Belize. The interviews. Launched on Thursday, 5th of February, 2026 at 6 p.m., the House of Culture. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Thank you all.
All right. We take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere. Our next conversation is all about becoming the picture of possibility for aspiring entrepreneurs.
Alright, when the one fun day on, the window open and the light may turn off. You look like you listen to me, Jamie.
Not only that, I even get a new coffee mug where keep my coffee hot all day.
I'm impressed. You don't look like you're so hard, yes?
Better than that, BL can change my meter to one of their new smart meter, they call it the AMI.
Oh, I hear about it on TV for BL ad, you know.
Yes, man, they don't reach the money by to change it right now. Let's go check it out.
Hey guys, I'm almost done here.
So now when you are reach my area?
We're upgrading meters across Belize, house by house, business by business. Always look out for BL logo, uniforms, and IDs. BL will make you know when we're in the area. The EMI meter rollout is a part of BL strategy to modernize our energy services.
You don't need to come in at my house, right?
Come in at your house, boss, only if you got something good for you.
BEL, bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Man, that's me. My data and I really need to get my order out today.
Really? Well, you can join our smart group plan.
Really? How that
Easy, let me tell you.
Whether it's family, friends, or your small business, we've got the perfect plan for every group. More members equals more savings, more connections. Smart group plans bring the connectivity you love to you and your circle. No one gets left behind. Explore Share One package option and add on unlimited data, calls, and SMS for the entire group for less than $50 per member. Visit any Smart showroom countrywide or email sales@speednet-wireless.com to sign up today. Smart, bringing people together.
Crossed borders in Central America, searching for the stories behind the places we think we know. I'm Sabrina Daly, traveling as a Belizean, curious about the culture, the people, and the experiences that make each destination stand out. From the spirited landscapes of Honduras to the evolving heartbeat of El Salvador. This journey explores what it really feels like to travel our region. This is Across Borders.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. This is our third conversation for this morning, and we have joining us via Zoom from the Caribbean, Shelly Ann Acque Solomon, and she's the CEO at Shelly Acque Consulting. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure having you with us this morning. Where are we calling? Where are you calling in from? Where are you zooming in from?
Well, I'm zooming in from Trinidad this time.
Trinidad, lovely. Well, you're here to talk a bit about the picture of possibility. What we want to know is, what does Shelly Acque Consulting do? What kind of work are you engaged in? I understand you work with entrepreneurs, correct?
Correct. I help Caribbean women in the Caribbean and the diaspora build profitable businesses, but we do that from a platform or from a place of life design so that the business serves the life that you really want to live.
Lovely. Excellent. And so how have you seen your work impact Caribbean women across the region up to this point?
Oh, it's exciting. I have seen women, their confidence just soar, their clarity around business and executing sales strategy, marketing strategies. Also, they have a sense of pride to know that they are financially stable. And for many of us, we are not just financially stable, we have time and location freedom as well. So it's really exciting to see how the lives are changing, how the families are changing, and how the women are setting up for successful generation planning.
No,
you often say that leaders must be the picture of possibility. Now that sounds kind of loaded, right? But what does that mean in practice and not just in words?
In my world, my framework, it's all about living as an example that people can follow so that we break barriers, we smash belief barriers, we extend beyond what is expected of us. It's about giving others permission to pursue their goals and their dreams. Now, when it comes to leaders, it's not just about what we have achieved.
Yes.
It's also about how we have achieved it. When people see us, they should not just see our successes, but they should see how we navigate complexities. They should see our emotional regulation, our behavioral regulation, our discipline, our focus, our tenacity, and our care for humans. You know, taking care of not just the bottom line, but also the nervous system of the people that are around us. So caring for people as well. So we are like an example. It's a heavy task, but it is exciting because it does inspire others to pursue things that they thought that they would not have been able to attain.
It's so interesting because when you think of leaders in general as well, they're often different leadership styles, right? And so to hear you say, you know, putting a person's feelings and emotions first as well, or at least as a part of that equation, where oftentimes some leaders might be just looking to get results, to see results based first. Do you find that a lot of leaders or a lot of people who come to you kind of clash with that level of thinking?
Yes, and you see, historically we've been taught that being a leader, you have to control, you have to dictate. It's all about the bottom line. And we don't really put the humans that are involved in this process as a priority. So I think that the more we strive to be emotionally and behaviorally regulated, ethically grounded, and we also have to be strategically clear. And we have to be emotionally intelligent leaders. Yes. We have to be aware of the humans that make this thing happen. And if our people, our team, doesn't feel stable, doesn't feel safe, and they are also struggling from chronic anxiety, then that's going to affect the bottom line. So we do have to take into consideration the people that's helping us to pursue the goal, to accomplish the goal. So we have to understand also the importance of critical thinking and culture. And everything has to have a context. We have to understand the importance of good, humanized, empathetic communication and the consequences of our actions and our behavior and our leadership style.
Now there's big news for you are coming out of your consulting firm, and it is that you are currently the only Caribbean woman nominated for the Black Business Association's Black Business Awards. Talk
congratulations as well, though.
Congratulations to you. What does that moment represent for you and the region at large?
Well, for the region, I would say, and the diaspora, because they are also rallying around this award. I believe it's symbolic. It sends a statement that we are leveling up, we are improving, we are now globally competitive. Personally, it's sobering, it's inspiring. It triggers deep gratitude for me because it's not about a trophy for me anymore. It's not about the award for me anymore. It's about watching the region rally around an entrepreneur that's really trying to elevate the Caribbean. Right, so to bring this award to the Caribbean is going to be exciting. It's going to be fulfilling. It's going to be fun, right? Because being a Caribbean woman nominated on a global stage, it shows that we are not only good at what we do, but we are competitive and we are now relative. And it increases my accountability and responsibility as a leader and a mentor to Caribbean entrepreneurs, especially women. All right, so it's a good statement to make with regards to the Caribbean. It's going to open ways and break mindset beliefs for those coming behind.
So what legacy do you hope that this story that has been shaped and continues to be created, what legacy do you hope the story leaves for the next generation of Caribbean entrepreneurs that are paying keen focus to what you're doing right now?
I want my legacy and the work that I do to give my Caribbean women permission. Permission to lead globally and not shrink. Permission to be rooted in your culture, but be expansive in your thinking and your pursuits. I want my legacy to give women permission to rest without guilt and to be visible without apology. You know, a lot of people apologize for being visible. No, show up as often as you can and be as great as you can, right? And I want them to give themselves permission to grow with grace and to build success that they enjoy, not endure. All right? I believe that Caribbean people can become global examples of success and leadership.
Do you have any upcoming events or projects that Caribbean entrepreneurs can take advantage of?
Yes, we are currently rolling out a 90-day reset on social media where I'm going to be focused on life and business reset, giving people direction as to how we are going to move forward so that you can actually attain success. And we are in the final stages of publishing my book, The Entrepreneurial Guide to Success, so that's exciting.
Nice.
And on the 26th, yeah, we're quite busy over here.
Yeah.
And on the 26th of April, we are going to be hosting our Business and Lifestyle Conference, where we're going to be focused on strengthening visibility with intention and with effective marketing, articulating brand stories and messaging authority. So we're going to be helping them actively pursue success.
Give us finally your parting words on the importance of storytelling for entrepreneurs, why it's important now more than ever to leverage their story for success.
Without stories, we are going to be left behind. The reason why I say that is because we are saturated with information. Information is easily accessible. In the past, showing up and teaching and giving information, that was a strategy that worked. But now the online space and everywhere you go, you can get information easily. I think what people are looking for, at least I know what people are looking for, are entrepreneurs, leaders, creators who they can connect with. They want to know that they are psychologically safe, that we have shared identities, we are humanizing the content, we are giving the pathway, and we are telling them not just a 5-step strategy, but we are showing them from our experiences how we have attained that. So stories tell people who you are, what you stand for, and whether they can feel safe to connect with you or purchase from you. So you have to get very, very clear as to what stories you're going to tell and what are the lessons that people are going to learn from those lessons. All right, it's no longer about just being present or giving some steps or giving information. People want to connect.
All right, well, that's some free advice right there for you. I want to really quickly engage our cultural phrase of the day, Ms. Shelley. I know that you are tuning in from Trinidad, so you're a part of our Caribbean sister, you know? And so we have an activity that we try to do every single day, and it's called our cultural phrase of the day, but really it's just decoding a Creole proverb.
Belizean Creole.
A Belizean Creole proverb. So I want to see if you can kind of decode this for us. It goes like this. Never call Haligeta big mouth, saute you don't cross the river.
Oh my God.
We'll repeat it
I'm
again.
not sure if you're familiar with any of these, but yes.
Never call Haligeta big mouth, saute you don't cross the river.
The English.
In English. Do you want me to say it in English, or you'll go at it right away?
I learned growing up from my grandmother.
Okay.
You don't poke a lion in his mouth when your hand is in his mouth. So that's the same. Wait until you're in a safe place before you attack the one that have you.
I love that. We didn't even have to, give you it in English. So it really means be careful who you insult. You might need them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Ms. Shelley. This has been a wonderful conversation. Congratulations again. And we look forward to following your story.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we take another break, and when we come back, we have one more conversation to look forward to. We'll be talking about Benny's bringing back Love Your Honda deals.
Cutting through the politics and posturing, here are some important facts and figures. When BTL was renationalized in 2009, the company was valued at $226 million, but Belizean taxpayers eventually paid $648 million for it. So what exactly did we pay for? In black and white, here's the breakdown. Dunkeld for shares acquired $354 million, almost half of which was interest resulting from government's refusal to settle promptly. BTL Employees Trust, $114 million, almost double the initial award due to interest and other costs. British Caribbean Bank Limited, $87 million, more than double the initial award due to interest. Government of Belize arbitration costs, $839,000. Government of Belize legal fees and costs, $13 million. Social Security loan acquired, $29 million. Government of Belize loan to Sunshine Holdings, $10 million. Taxes government failed to collect, $38 million. All for a grand total of $648 million. So we paid $422 million more than the real value, 3 times its true worth, not for the latest technology, because there was none, but simply for personal ego and legal misadventure. Let that sink in, Belize. Ignore the politics and posturing. Focus on the facts.
Maras me, my data that I really need to get my ARA out today.
Really? Well, you can join our Smart Group plan.
Really? How that works?
Easy, let me tell you.
Whether it's family, friends, or your small business, we've got the perfect plan for every group. More members equals more savings, more connections. Smart Group plans bring the connectivity you love to you and your circle. No one gets left behind. Explore Share One package option and add on unlimited data, calls, and SMS for the entire group for less than $50 per member. Visit any Smart showroom countrywide or email sales@speednet-wireless.com to sign up today. Smart, bringing people together.
Clean and maintain your yard the best way with Honda trimmers and lawn mowers. Honda Lawn and Garden Equipment. Available at Benquip. Equipment, parts, service.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
Welcome back. This is our final conversation, and it's all about Benny's bringing back Love Your Honda deals. We are joined this morning by Ellen Borland. She is the marketing and PR officer representing Benny's, and also here with us is Shane Fairweather. He's the general manager of Benquip. Guys, thank you so much for joining us and welcome. Welcome back.
Yes, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
It's quite a chilly one.
Yes, it is. But of course, we can warm up with the fantastic deals as we are in the month of February, and it is the relaunch of our Love Your Honda promotion. I just want to piggyback off the last conversation that we had in listening. For those persons who were listening to the conversation, it said, I have a business idea, but I'm not sure how to get there. Under our Love Your Honda promotion, we have equipment that is tailored to tradesmen. For example, our Honda engines that can be used to pair with a cement mixer.
Right.
We also have Honda lawnmowers for those and trimmers for those who may be thinking of segmenting into the landscaping business. And of course, we have Honda outboard engines.
Engines for the tour guides. We have small generators as well for the contractors who need to do jobs at very remote locations that is power sensitive and restricted from power.
You see, that's excellent sales right there, guys. Being able to connect any conversation to the work that you guys do, and making it be more than just a time period that you can take advantage of some sales or discounts. You are saying that if you have this story or this dream or this aspiration that you want to fulfill, we can get you there. And so we're here to talk about Love Your Honda during the month of love. But beyond that, of course, Benny's, the parent company for BenQuip, is here to say, even outside of this time period, you can still fulfill these goals because we have these products for you.
That is correct.
Right. Let's now take a step back and talk about the month of love, right? Love your Honda. I feel like we only have Mr. Fairweather here whenever, it's this conversation coming up, but it's a big deal for people who own Honda products, specifically motorbikes as well. Yes. I know there's a rally that also takes place on an annual basis. Let's talk about what you guys have in store for us for 2026.
So for this year's rally, we're doing 2 locations. We're first going on to Blue Creek, which is going to be this Saturday, the 7th of February at 10 a.m. The ride starts at Circle R. It goes through Blue Creek, passes back around RB's and finishes at Circle R. Sign-ups can be done online or it can be done at those locations or even contact us at BenQuip.
But what is the Love Your Honda deal? Like what's the deal? What are we getting on Honda products?
So 20% on Saturdays off all Honda parts throughout the store. You're also getting up to 25% off select products.
Right.
So we already have those priced for the entire month of February.
And in terms of Honda, we know, for the most part, we know Hondas as bikes.
Correct.
Right? As motorbikes. What's the variety or the options to choose from where the bikes are concerned?
So for the most novice of riders, you have the Honda Navi, which is a fully automatic scooter.
I've heard about that one.
Yes, you have just dual brakes.
What does full automatic mean, yes?
It means you throttle and go and you use both hands to use the brakes.
So it's like riding an electric bike?
Exactly.
So you have that?
Yes, and you're getting...
That's for somebody like me.
Yeah. And me, of course.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not experienced with the clutch, but it's still good.
Yeah.
You can get 110 miles on a full tank of gas.
Oh.
So for the average commuter, $30 gives you 2-3 weeks of riding continuously on a full tank.
Through the city?
Through the city, on the highway.
What's the average cost of that, and even with the deal?
The bike, $2,500 for this month.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a great investment.
And it's available in red, black, or orange.
Red, black, or orange.
Yes.
So you have that option. What other options do you have for maybe the more experienced Honda riders?
Well, you have 150cc's. You even have a very excellent 100cc that we got 2 years ago.
This is the 150cc.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's big.
Going for 3,700.
That one is fuel injected.
What does that mean? Fuel injected.
It works just like a car.
Okay, gotcha.
Very efficient with fuel.
What is it about the Honda brand that really makes people buy into it? Because when I started driving, I remember learning a bit about motor brands, and there are certain brands that have more respect because it lasts longer, and so it comes with a little bit of a higher price. But what is it about Honda?
It's not only durable and reliable, it's very efficient, and it's going to last you the lifetime of what you have it for. At BenQuip, we take pride in making sure we give excellent service for everything that we sell, especially Honda.
Talk a bit about the service over just general the service that the company push forward, and ensuring that staff understands the vision, especially when it comes to these sales and having all these customers flood in on days like these.
Well, it starts with feeling the calls outside. We take the calls daily. We make sure that we get the parts to the customers at a very timely manner. Then, of course, it trickles down to us getting the parts in stock. Also having the technicians well equipped and well trained to ensure that they can take care of the customer's needs.
So it's not only about how you interact with customers, but also ensuring that the customers get exactly what they want, correct?
That is correct. Exactly. Subsequent to that, we ensure that our staff on seat are fully engaged, fully trained, and prepared for these questions. And of course, we have our contact center where customers can reach out to us via WhatsApp, not only just for BenQuip, but for the other brands under the Benny's brand. And definitely not last but not least, customers are able to call in and of course visit our BenQuip location to see all the products and services that we actually offer at this time.
So if I come in and I say I'm an amateur rider, but I understand that it's way more economic to own a bike, will you all be able to guide me and say, all right, maybe this one might be your best option right now, and even perhaps offer a lead, this is how it works? but I mean, you have to do your own training, of course. But would you be able to give me some guidance?
Yes,
Most
of course.
definitely.
We give you a walk around. Sorry, Miss Ellen. We'll give you a walk around with all of the products. Have you take a look at it, show you them, and let you feel comfortable with which one works for you. Rather than just telling you, okay, we're going to push this down your throat. No, we're going to work with you to see what works for you.
Yeah, you're not trying to just make a sale.
No, we try to give you with Honda a partnership.
Yeah.
Something that you're going to love for the rest of your lifetime with it.
Now, I know whenever there's the Love Your Honda event, there's also an opportunity for people to take advantage of some servicing as well. Is that involved this year?
This year is going to be for the participants of the bike rallies. You're going to get a free oil change at both locations once you participate in our ride. And of course, we're going to be giving some surprises along the way, but you'd have to sign up to find out.
You have to own a Honda to be a part of the rally. It's like you want like
That's
a Honda rally.
The Honda rally, yes, it's exclusive to Hondas, but we have had a few bikes that come in every once
just
in a
guys that
while.
are enthusiasts and
we sneak them in there, of course.
You want to be a part of the crowd.
Yeah, and then when they ride with the Honda crowd, they eventually convert because
Yeah.
they see, you know something, I should get this bike in.
That's good strategy. On the call, man, on the call, we are converting, we are make Honda lovers out of you all.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so you said there's one ride in Blue Creek, and there's a second ride.
So the 14th of February is going to be Belize City.
That is Day of Love.
That's the Day of Love.
Saturday.
This
What
Saturday.
time is it begin?
That's going to begin at 10 a.m. at
10
our
a.m.
Benquip location.
Okay, and what's the route of it?
And Valentine's already.
Of course. You should know is what. Don't play.
It's going to be through the principal streets of Belize City, and then it's going to end right at our Benquip office.
Okay, wonderful. Now, you mentioned signing up. How can people sign up? Is there a fee associated with it as
No,
well?
it's free to sign up. Everybody can go online and get to the Google form. They can also contact us at any of our locations, and we'll be happy to sign you up.
All right.
And the sign up is not limited to before the ride. It can happen the very same day of the ride as well.
And that day, do you all offer, a little incentive?
A little refreshment to the
refreshment
asphalt. We're going to be having music. We're going to be having free merch.
Wow.
So those who sign up get a free T-shirt. We're going to be having refreshments. And of course, they get the access to do the oil change as well.
All right, so just to be clear, the deals are going on throughout the course of the month?
Throughout the course of the month.
Okay.
They started from this Sunday. Even though we weren't open, we still took calls and messages, of course, to help customers.
And then throughout the course of the week, you can come in, take advantage throughout the entire month.
During the entire month. On the Saturdays, though, we have the 20% off store-wide.
20% off store-wide on
the
Saturdays.
Yes.
And the Love Your Honda deals throughout the entire month.
And
wow.
to even add to that, we've even went a step further with some of our products. So for lubricants, those that have other needs, we're doing 20% off products in store on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And we're doing up to 40% off certain products.
Wow.
So they can take advantage of those as well.
So here's a question as well, since we're talking about Belize. Can I use my B-Box?
That is right.
Yes.
Tell me about how I can use B-Box and if I can even earn B-Box through these deals.
Most definitely. So any customer who goes into our Benny's location or Benquip can get a chance to earn their B-Box. There's a certain threshold that they need to meet to actually earn those B-Box. But for those customers who currently have B-Box in their accounts, this can be used to purchase your oil, your accessories, and for those customers who have a large sum of B-Bucks can actually purchase some of these items that we have on sale.
I love that for them.
Yeah, same. I wish I was there.
Right?
So B-Box is always a great thing because you earn from purchasing with us, but you can also reuse it to repurchase what you need.
Incredible.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. Well, guys, we do have to wrap up this conversation. It's been wonderful.
Thank you
We
so
look
much.
forward to seeing those Honda bikes on the 14th and the
coming
7th
Saturday.
at Blue Creek.
All right.
All right. Well, we do have to rev our way offset right now. Yes, no, we're going to wrap up
Yes, all right. And we want to say thank you to everyone who joined us earlier as well, and also you guys for tuning in. It is February 3rd, and if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oye@greaterbelize.com.
You could also catch us live on Facebook every weekday morning at Open Your Eyes, BZ.
As well as Instagram for behind the scenes contents. That's OYE Belize. You can even call us or text us on our OYE phone number. That's 675-2555. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
And start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Tuesday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.